1, 2, 3. What is up, y'all? Welcome back to the recap, going over the round 2 of Olympic rugby women's pool play. Wow, man, this one was so real. I actually had to get real sleep after this one because upset centrals, just heart attack. This was the heart attack games of all of them. Man, when we start to think that you know what what's going to be on paper, this is why they say this is why you play the game. This is why you play the game. Let's kick it off right away. Starting right out, Pool B, first game, Fiji versus Canada. Canada coming off the big win versus Brazil, over Brazil. Hey, what's up, Gilmeza? Thank you so much for coming through. And of course, Fiji losing out just slightly to France. Man, I definitely said I don't think that Fiji is going to be the most overwhelming team, the most dominant team. Again, Canada is my bronze medalist team within my pre-game predictions. Yeah, let's talk about Fiji completely saying we're going to tap into the soul of Fiji. All right, we know what our men did. What up, Cody? What's good with you, bro? We're going to tap into the same powers of the South Pacific that my men did, and we're going to show Canada what it's about, and they showed Canada what's about. When we talk about it's a 21-0 lead starting off in the first half, 21-0 lead, crushed Canada. Literally, figuratively, crushed. Don't let anybody ever tell you what it seems obvious is what's really there. Canada came out so strong. Ulunosio breaking like 4 tackles to get the first score of the day, going up 7-0. Then you got Namasi picking up a loose ball, taking it in, 14-0. This was so reminiscent of the USA versus Great Britain game early on. I got scared for a moment for Fiji because I was like, okay, man, don't let Canada reset itself. And apparently they decided not to because Ulunosau did it again in the second half, taking the big try in off the kickoff. Going up the middle, Canada had no answers for this Fiji team. And this was the most aggressive Fiji team that I think I've ever seen play. Like, typically you always see them play hard. They're not always the fastest, but this team has come in trained. They got, I don't know what they got advised over the course of the middle of that day, but they stepped it up to a different level where they might be one, if they play at that level, they are definitely at least a quarterfinals team. And you could argue that they could make it into the semifinals if they continue playing at that level. And I mean crushing everybody going into it. It took until 3 minutes and 30 seconds left into the second half for Giziani Landry for Canada to be able to find play. But this was a costly game for Canada because not only was it very bad for seeding for moving on into the knockout stages, but in the process they may have lost their first winger, Kiana Wardley, who scored twice in the previous game versus Brazil. They lost Charity Williams, their other winger, to a shoulder injury from the other side, and then even whenever they scored their last score, Kirsten Molecki, she took a hard hit into the ground going for that diving play. Fiji ended up winning this one 26-12. This is how you set the tone for the tournament, y'all. This is how you set it up because the rest of it was just this entire feeling. Was an upset going to happen? I thought that this was going to be the round where the favorites were able to settle in, but that was not the case at all. This is anybody's tournament at any point in time. And moving on, going into the other Pool B round, France versus Brazil. This one, a little bit more, a close game. Brazil played a much better game out of this one. One of the big issues that Brazil had was the fact that they were not making their passes. They were trying to run laterally to be able to make up ground and were unable to continue the ball movement. This one actually took a while before the score kicked in. It actually kicked off, and Cecile Giovanni actually ended up getting the picked up ball, the loose dropped ball, and going in for the score. That woman can run, all right? But that was 3 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the half. Brazil has a really stout defense. I think that they hold up. Unfortunately, their offense has not been able to match up. And you start to see the breakdown over time. That and errors. I mean, that's been the key with everything. What's up, Andy? That's been the key with everything. It's been forced errors and the ability to be able to maintain the pace and going on. I think in this one, you saw a chance that Brazil was going to be able to, but again, errors. Giovanni was able to get 2 scores in that first half, putting France up 12-0. And then you had a really great turnover by France that allowed Lina Guerin to be able to complete for a try, putting France up 19-0 at halftime. Again, tough scores, but a lot of it became the mistakes that Brazil put on there. I mean, this is something that we have to be able to call and be consistent on. Big shout out though, beginning of the second half, Bianca Silva was able to find space. What's up, Rugby Sweeney? Find space, cut it up, and whenever Brazil is able to go, they have the pace. They have the pace, but the key is finding the space. Number 6, Thalita Da Costa. Yo, she needs to be able to distribute out the ball. That one was killing it because as soon as Brazil made that score, Da Costa started going back into that same cycle of trying to go and follow the ball with the run instead of doing it with the pass, keeping France spread out. France would end this game 40-5, a very comfortable win, setting themselves up. I think France is the biggest surprise team that's coming out of this so far. Coming off with the repechage, I think it's very easy to underestimate them because they didn't qualify as they typically would. But I said in the last video, France has been a traditional powerhouse within women's rugby. They've always performed well, and again, they have great leadership. Fanny Horta has been as consistent as any leader could be over the course of the last 7 years. So to be able to see what they're doing is not surprising, but to see the level of dominance that they're having inside this arena is really impressive. And I look forward to seeing what this France-Canada game is going to end up looking like at the end of this, because Canada's really hurt. And France can really dominate. And if Fiji's able to get the win over Brazil, this puts Canada out, and there's a very strong chance that they might not be able to make it into the third place rounds, though I think their win over Brazil on the first game might give them the points to be able to do it. But France took this one 40-5. We now move on to Pool A. We move on to Pool C, Australia versus China. Last game, the Aussies took on Japan, and we talked about the crispness of their play. This is something that I think is going to be a hallmark for Australia going through, and that the U.S. needs to watch out for when it comes to their game this one. Australia is really efficient. They are a precise attacking team, but they still have their holes. China was able to take advantage of that as long as they were being able to swarm, keep it away, disrupt that phase play. And China, once again, just like the USA game, came out strong. Yang pulled an amazing dummy, cutting it up on the inside, getting the first score of the day for China. China going up 5-0. Amazing play, and then it followed into the same script. You give Sharni Williams, captain for the Australian team, a big amount of credit. She took the team on her back, crashed it down the middle off of some beautiful offloads, which involved 5 players, all right? Let's make sure we're getting this correct. 5 players touched the ball before Sharni Williams was able to get it in for the score, putting Australia up 7-5. It followed up by a strong Charlotte Caslick run around the edge, putting it in 12-5. Australia leading 12-5 at halftime. Close game, but you start to see, again, Australia is a pattern team. The one way that we know that they're going to be able to be disrupted is if you disrupt the pattern. We didn't get to see a lot of action from Emma Tamagadu, and we didn't see a lot from Demi Hayes. Even though they didn't start this game, they did come on, but again, if you keep them from the outside, it slows down the ball very consistently. But, Australia, just like any of these teams, they have pace, opened up the second half, Faith Nathan, 80-meter try, straight speed on that one. Just straight speed. Could not be stopped. Don't let them get behind you. Australia goes up 19-5. Australia would end up taking this one with China closing out the game with another score, ending at 26-10 and at full time. Australia still maintaining the top spot off of point differential. But this is an Aussie team that is as dangerous as they are proficient. If you can stop that proficiency, you got something. Then we came into the last game for Pool C, USA versus Japan. This one was closer than I would have liked it to be, considering how much Australia dismantled Japan. Again, Japan came in, I think, a lot more confident, but I think it also speaks a little bit to the way that we play. The USA team is probably one of the strongest defensive teams with the output for offense. We know we got the offensive skill set, but I think we like to be able to play defense because it's better to win the game than to try and blow out and lose close, that kind of thing. But big shout out Iona Mar getting her first score for the tournament, breaking tackles, going around the edge, getting that 5-0. Yo, Japan wasn't ready for it. And then Jordan Mateus, her value was wild. She is what I'm going to consider to be the Samu Karevi that Australia had for the men's. It's the same as what Elia Green had been for Australia for so many years, and what we were able to see. Like, she crushed people. She is a bruiser. We've seen her so much in 15s as an 8-man, and it makes perfect sense. In 7s, it just seems such a natural place. This is your enforcer, and she was able to get the score after a beautiful phase and interception by Kayla Kinnett to put US up 10-0. Unable to make both of our conversions, but we're able to dominate and keep the pace for Japan. Japan was able to get a lot stronger in their defensive line, and I think that actually created a bit of a disruption. What's good with you, Duncan? Duncan Pumpkin? What's up, brother? Halftime, I think we were able to reset ourselves again. Christy Kirsch, again, pulling the ball out, getting the ball out to... This is where you go, this is just good teammates. What's up, Adrian, the Barbarian? Adrian, yeah. Christy Kirsch was able to rip the ball, get the space. You could see her start to run. And shout out to giving Ariana a Ramsey, newbie on the squad. Definitely showed herself off during the Lima tournament, Sevens tournaments in South America. But letting her get her first try in the Olympics. As a young player, that is significant. And what makes it the best is this is how fast Kirsch is. Kirsch was like, here's a ball, and still was ahead of her throughout the play. That is beautiful. That's beautiful sport. I love this USA team. I love our team. Our team is so dope. Got such great leadership, and we just show out so bloody well. Taking up 17-0. This last play was the one that I didn't like the most. Koidi Mufufu for Japan was able to find space at the end of the match, putting it up 17-7. Didn't want Japan to get any scores off of this one just because we want the point differential against Australia. And it's going to make it so much more pressure to have to just win out against Australia. We had to do it anyways, but sometimes that point differential also helps us for seeding, even for the knockout round. But with this win, we got the guaranteed movement into the quarterfinals. That's back-to-back U.S. teams in the quarterfinals, and we are looking to be able to dominate. I look at this team as being still a gold medal contender. I think we have yet to show off our best rugby. And I'm looking forward to this Australia game tonight because of the fact that we're going to see exactly how potent this USA defensive lineup is. Like I said, Chris Brown is out here still mixing and matching, trying to put out the best lineup for each team. I like us being able to save legs. But we're looking for the big plays are still yet to come. We did this without a Lev Kelter for the majority of this, and that says a lot. We're playing for the knockouts. That's where it needs to be. Australia is another one of those that we got to be able to see it speed for speed. Final pool play. Final games of pool play. Pool A, New Zealand versus Great Britain. My God, this game was intense. Yo, man, when you talk about karma coming back around to a Great Britain team, now mind you, it wasn't the men's team that had this happen to them, but it was still a Great Britain under that Captain Jack flag. I say, screw everybody under that Captain Jack flag. Y'all can eat it. You are your brother's sister's keeper in that regard. This game, I got a little uncertain because in the last game, when New Zealand played Kenya, Kenya got their score off of pushing New Zealand on a one-on-one. Mind you, of course, New Zealand was still able to dominate them and be able to keep them off. But I thought that was a little bit of concern. The other one was the abilities of Portia Woodman. I think it's very interesting for the fact that Portia Woodman throughout her career has been playing at wing. And now she's down at the forward. It seems like she might have lost a little step after this knee injury. Not to say that she's any less potent, that she's not a potent threat one way or another, but she does not have the danger factor that we're used to from a Portia Woodman. That being said, New Zealand clearly showed that this didn't matter. But, yo, Great Britain had us on the edge. Yo, going up 21-0 at halftime. Helena Rowland getting that first offload, cutting it in, showing nothing but speed, and taking off the Ruby Tui error, 7-0. Megan Jones cutting inside, another great pass in a scissor. What's up, Stones? Bones? Cutting it inside. Great Britain, 14-0. This looked like this was going to be a dominating game. New Zealand could not get themselves. Then added in Jasmine Joyce, the tiny Jasmine Joyce, the only Welsh, non-English, the Welsh player, came through, cutting it up, finding space, dodged a Portia Woodman tackle, in for the score, 21-0. Yo, Great Britain's looking like they're about to dominate this one. They're going to take this easy. We got in the second upset game for the day. And then New Zealand said, we're hitting our Jordan face. I took it personally. Michaela Blythe, a former 200-meter Olympic contender, and she showed off every single bit of that speed. Took the ball off the edge, and off of the kickoff, took it around a solid 60-meter score. There was no one close. There was nobody close. And at that moment, I was like, okay, this is why Portia Woodman moved it to the inside. Because the speedsters that this New Zealand team has is ridiculous. And what happened in the second half? Up 21-7, Michaela Blythe doesn't, again, before halftime goes. What's up, Kofi? What's up, Kofi, man? Blythe takes it again, says, yo, I'm not done yet, all right? Another long 60, 70-meter try. Blythe showing off every bit of speed, 21-12 going into halftime. Yo, Great Britain is on the edge. Momentum has finally changed. And then, of course, the next reason why this New Zealand team should never be underestimated, Tyler Nathan Wong showing nothing but pace. Yo, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that you taking the time to even look at them, man. Thank you so much. Showing nothing but pace, taking it in, 21-19. Great Britain is on the edge. Yo, New Zealand has all of it. All of it. This is a team that's not just a second half team. This is a team that whenever you say, we're going to maximize. It reminded me of whenever Fiji turned it on against Great Britain in the men's match. They said, oh, you thought you guys can keep with us. No, let us show you what it is when it's max play. And they showed max play. And then, of course, getting the hat trick, shutting it off, Blythe finds space, taking it down with taking on a 6-man Great Britain team that got a yellow card, gets the win on the 26th straight point comeback for New Zealand. Sevens play is not to be messed with. 26-21 final score. New Zealand tops off the pool B, and it's done. It's done. Yo, New Zealand is not to be played with. What's up, Henry? New Zealand is not to be played with. Look, They might take it easy. They might they might be late off the bat, but this was the game that is something to watch for quarterfinals. I said New Zealand is definitely going to be a top 3 contender. They are not to be underestimated. We never but I'm telling you, it is a different level of squad. Like, it is not just reliant on one speedster who can break everything. They got like 6 speedsters. It's ridiculous. And then we come into the final game of Pool B, last game, Russian Olympic Committee versus Kenya. Kenya team that showed amazing resilience against New Zealand. Didn't let themselves get completely demolished in that one. Whether you want to say New Zealand was playing their full, I don't care. This is Olympic Games. You play to win the game, all right? There's no half-assing. You play to win the game. ROC looked at it early. It looked like they were going to be able to just snooze through this. Soznova gets an easy try, 7-0. And then followed up again by a Christina Saradina, a middle of the field, short try. A lot of the issues that were happening was that Kenya could not get out of their side of the field. It wasn't, they weren't able to get the ball movement away. The defensive line was really strong, and they were trying to, really push it through. But look, this is why Kenya, don't underestimate the Lionesses, all right? The spirit of Africa, East Africa, as a Nigerian, I gotta recognize, we got our segmentation of region, but the spirit of East Africa came into this, all right? It came into this. Janet Okelu came through, long run, broke it through, breaking 2 tackles from the Russian Olympic Committee, going for a 70-meter try, getting the big try, 14-7, going into halftime. What's up, Luka Moshia? 14-7 going into halftime. And then we got, it wasn't over yet, all right? When you thought it was done, Kenya said, run it back for me. Got the penalty off of a Russian error. Janet Okelu said, let me get mine again. Boom, in for the second try, 14-12. Weren't able to get the conversion, but 14-12 going into halftime. This was anybody's game. And then, of course, Russia took it personally. Daria Shakova turned on the Jets at the beginning of the second half and showed what the Russian Olympic Committee is capable of doing. Took it up 21-12, and it was just, errors and running, and that Kenya defense just wasn't able to maintain. Again, a lot of it comes from experience. Russia is not a new team. They've been doing this for a little bit. Kenya is a little bit newer to the table with a lot of new players involved in it, but give it up. Like I said, they might not be able to get into the quarterfinals, but they might mess up somebody's chances to be able to get into the third round. But Russian Olympic Committee was able to win this game 35-12, closing it out with an 80-meter run by Kokiana. This Russia team, I look for them to actually come in on this one, actually third in this, but I think they're going to come in through the third play. I look at them most likely if they're able to defeat, if they're able to play close against New Zealand. I expect them to actually end up taking on probably Canada most likely Canada in the third play game. What's up, Tamazin Hulmaciel? Let's go. Thank you for joining us today. But this was an intense one. This one was upsets on the horizon. Upset watch was big to play, and these last games are going to be huge. You're seeing the biggest competitions. Again, New Zealand versus ROC. You're going to see USA versus Australia. We're going to get France versus Canada. We're going to see Fiji and Brazil. These are going to be the games that set the tone. But at least we know definitely the quarterfinals. USA is in, Australia is in, France is in, New Zealand is in, and we're yet to see for Fiji, and we're yet to see for Canada. But most likely those two are going to end up being in. But guys, I absolutely love this. I hope you guys enjoy. Please, we got the next games coming up at 7 p.m. tonight. 7 p.m. Central. I don't know exactly where everybody is. But 7 p.m. Central. Guys, look out for it. Thank you so much for taking the time. My name is Gift Time in Bailu. You guys have a good one. Cheers.